What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. We're gonna have a little bit of a slow start to the day. I don't know how much I'm allowed to tell you, and I don't really understand what's going on at all, but some friends of mine are coming by that have this like TV show thing, and they're filming an episode showcasing the shop. So don't really know what that entails. All I know is that we gotta clean the shop, so that's kind of our first focus of the day, is just kind of organizing and moving stuff around. But other than that, Johan's welding up the R34 intakes, which I'm super excited to see and hear for the first time. Also, some more exciting news. Those of you who have been paying attention to the emails, the S15 decks are finally done with production. Those will be here Friday and are going to be shipped out all throughout the weekend. The guys are staying after hours for you. And I have alluded to having some extras. So we did order a little bit over the amount that were initially pre-sold, and we did have some refunds of people that didn't want to wait. So there will be a drop next week with a small batch of the leftover S15 decks. Most likely Tuesday or Thursday. I'll keep you guys in the loop. And the last drop that we did with those restocked hoodies practically sold out overnight, and I just want to thank you guys. I appreciate it more than ever. Some cool designs that are definitely, I'm bummed that we, some of my favorite designs that are saying goodbye, and I appreciate all the support. I think we have a few left of like maybe R34 or S13, but Evo sold out like super fast. This video is sponsored by Omaze, and they are giving away a 1 of 10 RTR Spec 5 Mustang, as well as a VIP access to a Formula Drift race of your choice. RTR makes some awesome cars. You guys know I'm good friends with Vaughn. This thing makes 750 horsepower, wide body, looks sick, and in addition to winning the car, you get to hang out with Vaughn at FD. The best part is by donating, you are helping Folds of Honor, which is a nonprofit organization that provides educational scholarships to the spouses and children of fallen and disabled American service members. To date, they've awarded over 29,000 scholarships in all 50 states, in addition to Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. If you want to support an awesome cause as well as have a chance to win an awesome car, make sure you go to omaze.com/AdamLZ. And if you use my promo code AdamLZ150, you'll also get an additional 150 entries. Make sure you check it out. Omaze is doing a lot of awesome things for different causes all across the world, and I'm appreciative of them sponsoring this video. I'll put the link in the description. Now let's get back to the main content.
Yeah, we pulled that one out, put that one in. I don't know why. No, this one is the wet sump setup that we just did a bunch of testing on. And so now you can see the front plate and the dailies dry sump setup. We're setting it in there with the old motor mounts to still keep the same position that we had, like all of our intercooler piping, all of our exhaust, everything else. And then I'm gonna build some plates to reinforce the frame here so we can do mounts to hold the front plate in, stick the transmission under, make sure everything still lines up, and start building for the dry sump setup. So that's what we're doing now. Then we gotta run lines, mount the tank, and
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like we tested the engine, engine's good. Now all the stuff that we wanna put on said engine, now that we know it's good, we're moving forward with.
Gotcha.
Hi. We are no longer using the factory air temp sensor because it has a big old blower there blowing hot air to it, and Freddie does not like that. So we are moving it away from the radiator onto the intercooler piping and putting a Haltech sensor on it.
Oh, so good. Can you
I still got my.
Can you put the sound effect on that, like the infomercials, like the, I don't know. There's a sound effect. Like
there's that and like the shiny teeth thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll put Mike's After Effects knowledge to work over.
Yep.
You ready, Freddie?
Yeah, never ready.
I love saying that. So we have some interesting findings. We are probably one of the first people to do VCAM along with the PRP Pro trigger kit. We were running into an issue tuning fork over at Haltech Australia. It's kind of been helping us through figuring it out. I'm gonna let Freddie explain and educate you guys on what we have found and what the solution is, because I don't understand a lot about trigger kits. It's still kind of foreign language to me.
Hello. The PRP Pro trigger kit is a 36-2, so there's 36 teeth with 2 missing. And then the upper cam is just one tooth. That pretty much allows you to run sequential fuel injection, and it tells the ECU, like, it resets the cycle. So the ECU knows where the engine is pretty much. And you set that up with a timing gun. You sync the ECU and the trigger kit with a timing gun. The HKS V cam has 3 teeth on the cam with this sensor right here. And what we're running into is, with all of these different teeth, as soon as we would command any sort of cam movement on the intake cam, it would pretty much lose position of the cam and just error out. It wouldn't recalibrate. So then Scott, tuning fork, took the file and he said, I'll call you back. And he called me back and said, we're gonna make it run like a 2J. Factory 2Js, they run 36-2 crank and -3 on the intake cam. So we pretty much put the trigger settings as a 2JZ, and we are now ignoring the exhaust cam, and it works.
So now, the exciting part of all this, I don't know what it is about this car. It sounds so cool. When it first started and I first heard it rev up to like 2,000-3,000 RPM, I was kind of like, it kind of sounds like a stock GTR. But the second that it gets past like 4,000 RPM, it has this sweet, raspy, like resonance. It sounds cool. So I want to have Freddie turn it on and also show you what he can do with V-cam at idle, because you can kind of make it almost like have like a ghost big cam and get it to lope and do some pretty cool stuff.
You have ghost cams. Coyote owners.
Take your Play-Doh. Ignore what I said about the chopping thing. It just isn't acting right now for the chop. So we'll ignore the chop thing. We don't like ghost cams anyway. But I do want you guys to hear how rad this thing sounds. Freddie, rev it as high as you're comfortable with. Do that again. I want to watch the engine move. The intake noise. It sounds like an ITV NA car. Yo, the intake noise is wild up here. Dude, it sounds like an E46 with just like, you know, ITVs and a big plenum. God, that's bad. It doesn't move that much. So good.
So welding the second intake, and then we'll be done with the welding.
It's a long road, but you're finally done.
Yeah, it's just checking figment once again before I weld it, and then if I have to make an adjustment, I could make it now versus welding it and then put it in and hitting the strut tower, hitting the charge pipe. And then I added a stud at the bottom of the turbo, so it holds the gasket while installing the pipe and also helps installation. It's gonna be tough to get to it, so this one will have to go on first, and then this intake will have to go second, just so I could get my hand in there. If not, I get Adam's skinny hand and we could put the nut on there. For now, this is it. Weld it, clean it up, weld it up, and figure out some brackets. We're mainly worried about the brackets for vibration, and so if we mount them to the chassis, we gotta find some rubber insulators that will make them give them flex, so that they flex with the motor. These, like the AC clamps, they have plenty of flex. I know some Japanese makes like aftermarket filters will run like a small piece of metal here, and it will get clamped, and then that will run out to, let's say, here, and it will bolt to that. So that would be an easy bracket that it would be best because it won't be welded to the titanium, and with vibration, long period of time, the vibration will crack. Like it will crack the titanium unless I build like a really beefy bracket, which I don't want to do. So I think the best bet is to build, make something that goes on the bottom of it so you can't see it. Once you put the clamp on this, it will hold it, and then it will go to the chassis. It will vibrate, but it won't break the actual pipe.
Okay.
It will have some flex, so I'll make it out of really soft material, like really skinny aluminum or something.
One thing that I was a little bit worried about, it sounded too good to the point where it almost sounded like the wastegates were opening up while I was revving, so I wanted to double check. They make a little tool for this that a lot of people use for internal wastegate setups called a Mighty Vac, where you can like squeeze it and slowly pump up air to see when the wastegate's open. Now these are 14 PSI wastegates from ATP that come with the 2860s. I think standard on a typical stock RB26 turbo is more like a 7 or an 8 PSI actuator. But these are a bit higher, so we would technically have the headroom to go upwards of 28 pounds. Usually the rule of thumb is to double it, but I might want to be pushing into the 30s, and sometimes when you start having back pressure and you start getting a higher RPM, they can blow open just from pressure alone. So I wanted to check, and next door they didn't have a Mighty Vac, but they had a leak down tester that PSI lent to me, and I rigged it up so I was able to put it on a line that goes right to the front of the wastegate. And if you want to film the wastegate, or actually I can show you here, so I'll start letting air in. And then you can look at it right when I get to about 14, 15 pounds, film the wastegate, and you'll see it start opening. You'll see it start opening up the wastegate. What that does, it allows exhaust gas to escape from going through the turbine and spooling the turbo. So if you hit your target boost, rather than forcing the turbo to make more boost, it just lets it go out through the exhaust. Traditionally, in most of our cars, we have an external wastegate. So that's when you hear it go from sounding like a normal car through the exhaust to rat, but because it's dumped into the exhaust, it doesn't go rat, and it just
Brown Chaser,
like
prime example.
changes. Yeah, the Brown Chaser does a good rat. I heard you got scared with that earlier today. Mike had to go do some tuning for me because I wasn't here. But yeah, so instead it'll sound like my 335, or like you just hear a slight change in tone, but nothing crazy. I just wanted to kind of keep it true to the era. Even though a lot of dudes throw single turbos on this, I wanted to go twins and experiment with that first. So I'm probably going to preload them a little bit. You can adjust and kind of lengthen. No, we want to shorten it. And by shortening it, you put some preload on the wastegate, so when it starts opening, it'll start opening later, because once it gets to about third open, that's when all the exhaust gas starts blowing out. And by doing this also, we'll make a little bit more torque and a little bit more mid-range, because it'll kind of keep it clamped shut. So I'm gonna try spinning it a couple times and then seeing where it starts to open now. 18 pounds was kind of the target I was shooting for. It'll still be safe on pump gas. I don't really like personally to go over 20 pounds on pump gas, nor does Freddie. So to keep it safe, I'm gonna run 18 pounds on pump gas, if we even ever run pump gas at all. So what I did, if you look at this rod down here, there's a little C-clip. You just shorten it, and it puts a little bit of preload. So when this thing starts moving, now at 18 pounds is when this will start moving. So I just gotta pop that annoying little C-clip back on there, and then do it with the front one. Yolan's gonna be seeing pie cuts for the rest of his life. It's done.
It's done. I'm done.
It came out really good though.
No. No.
What did he say? Just kidding.
Might as well, you watched it.
You don't like fingerprints.
We got that gritty,
Once the hood,
vibrant.
keep it clean it. It'll stay clean once the hood is on.
Yeah.
And then next week, he's gonna decide to go single turbo. So
Oh no. I'm like really impressed just with driving around. I think like you're gonna be pleasantly surprised with this setup. Yeah. It's sick. I know.
it's gonna be hard to beat the white 32.
Yeah. So now pretty much the only thing left is eventually to make some sort of brackets for them, right?
Yeah, so I already explained to them. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna build them like out of titanium and weld them to them, because the vibration will break the bracket no matter. So you know how you bought, I don't know if you ever bought like a JDM air intake. They'll use like clamp, but below it they'll put like a half moon with a small bracket, and that's how they tighten them down.
Got it.
So I'm gonna do that to this and tighten here.
Let's find some gaskets for this and start it up.
Yeah.
We might add a blow-off valve. It sounds kind of funny because of the different length charge pipes, which is kind of common for the twin turbo setup. But listen. Yeah. Every RV does it. Official first drive with the intakes. Freddie's gonna let me rev it out to 7,000 RPM. I'm excited. It sounds so good now. I love it. Next up on the task list is gonna be figuring out those four-wheel drive lights that come on. Alright, ready? I'm so excited. Just coach me. I can't get over how good it sounds.
Now we have the V cam working too, so let me know if you feel any difference.
Okay. Just kind of coach me on how you want me to step on it, you know? Dude, it's gonna spool pretty good.
It's gonna spool good.
We gotta bed these brakes in. If I could just step it on a little bit there, dude.
It wants to go.
You feel it? Sounds kind of neat.
Yeah, it sounds better than free revving.
I'm very impressed with the response. Like, it's pulling pretty drastically already. God, I love ITB cars. I'm so happy with the setup.
Wander out then.
Whoa, I always miss
3 to
fourth.
6.
Why do I keep doing that? I'll go on our other bed breaks in road.
Be safe.
We're doing half full.
Yeah, screw it.
I'm gonna bed the brakes in. You ready? This thing's gonna rip. It scares me seeing no gauges myself.
Yeah.
Second gear, right? Yeah. We go 50% throttle, you tell me when to left, okay? Will I hit some sort of limiter?
I think that was red line.
What are we doing third?
You can roll into a little bit more. Everything looks good.
God, it sounds so cool!
Calm down.
It just sounds so exotic.
Sounds good.
The response is wild. I was about to say for an engine that doesn't have any sort of variable timing, but guess what? We got VCAM. Because RB26 normally feel like dog like a low RPM.
Yeah. How does it feel like you're coming into that
It
3K?
feels better than my 32 did. Feel the diff in the rear. Lay into it in second or lay into it in third?
I think third.
Want me to floor it or roll into it? I'm gonna bed the brakes here just because I can. or second's better than third? Because
Second's less load.
yeah, you want me to do in second?
Yeah.
I'll do like 80% throttle in second. Just hit me on the side of the arm if I need a lift, okay? Good? I'm gonna try flooring it in third, okay? Okay. God, this thing's gonna sound so cool.
You're just hitting limiter. We're at 7,000 right now. But the tach goes to 9, so we got room.
Dude, this thing's making all the right noises. I don't know how I feel about the WOT valves with the exhaust and
You know, I kind of like it, like when you lift under high boost.
yeah.
But like free revving, it doesn't sound that. Well, you know what? It's cool. It's different.
Well, it'll still kind of make similar noises if we put a blow-off valve on it. It just like we would just have to shim the blow-off valve kind of on the tight side. God, dude, this thing's something else. I'm so happy I stayed twins. It's probably making, what do you think? Right now, 450.
Probably a solid 400.
Yeah. I mean, it feels a solid 50 to 100 wheel faster than it was before.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You've driven it a bunch.
These cars feel really slow for how much power they make because it's usually very linear.
Yeah. That and you did the gearing too, which should help a little bit.
Yeah. Man, dude.
It's super low timing too right now, so like there's so much room to grow.
I could floor it in second.
Yeah.
Not
I mean-
first though.
I mean, first kind of useless to floor, especially through an intersection.
I don't care, Fred. No ABS light.
Cool. And the Tesla is not bad.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, I forgot I still need to line this thing. It's a little darty right now.
Yeah. I'll line up before you wear out the tires.
Yeah.
I was like 6 watts.
The stock wall valves on these kind of sound similar. God, this sounds so cool! Yeah, it feels, I'm 110% happy. I was worried that I was going to be like upset that I went with a 26 like bottom end with too big of turbos and it was going to be laggy. It feels phenomenal. It feels really good. Clutch feels fantastic too. Super happy with it.
I hit your arm.
It's going to be hard to shift fast. I noticed the transient on the twins is kind of like, they kind of fall on their face a little.
We will also start revving out to 7 too.
True.
Falling a lot.
This thing's so good. I love it. I bet there's still quite a bit left on the table too, playing with the VCAM settings.
Yeah, they're just the base settings, so like 28 degrees
Yeah.
of intake advance.
Thank you, Freddie.
Thanks for taking me to the JDM space.
Oh yeah. I think we've hit orbital boundaries that have never been reached before with this car, Fred.